Every payday begins with the same hopeful feeling, the belief that this time things will be different. For Ava, this morning felt like a brand new beginning. Inside, Ava started her morning the same way she always did, with a fresh cup of coffee and a few quiet moments before the day began. She had goals, dreams, and a determination to finally take control of her finances. Today wasn't just another payday. In her heart, it was the day she decided things were going to change. Then it happened. A notification she'd been waiting for all week. Her paycheck had finally hit her account. After working hard and counting down the days, seeing those words on her screen felt like a reward and a fresh opportunity. Ava couldn't help but smile. She believed this paycheck wasn't just money. It was a chance to make better choices and move one step closer to the life she was working so hard to build. A smile spread across Ava's face. For a moment, all the stress of the past week seemed to disappear. She wasn't thinking about bills or responsibilities just yet. She was simply enjoying the feeling of finally getting paid. It felt like a fresh start, a chance to breathe, reset, and make this paycheck count. What Ava didn't realize was that the biggest challenge wasn't earning the money. It was holding on to it. As Ava held her phone, her imagination began to wander. She pictured a future where money wasn't a constant source of stress, a future where her savings continued to grow, where bills were paid on time, and where she could enjoy life without worrying about every dollar she spent. She dreamed of financial freedom, of having choices instead of financial pressure. In that moment, it all felt possible. She had the income, she had the determination. Now, all she needed was a plan. Just as Ava was feeling confident about her fresh start, there was a knock at the door. Standing on the other side was her best friend, Zara. Zara had a gift for turning an ordinary day into an adventure. She was fun, spontaneous, and always knew where the best sales were happening. Today was no different. She arrived with excitement written all over her face and a plan that Ava never saw coming. Little did Ava know, this unexpected visit was about to test every promise she had made to herself that morning. Just as Ava was getting ready to focus on her plan, the front door flew open. In rushed her best friend, Zara, arms full of colorful shopping bags and excitement. One look at Zara's smile was enough to know she'd already found some incredible deals. Her energy was contagious, and before she even said a word, Ava could tell this wasn't going to be an ordinary visit. Sometimes, temptation doesn't arrive looking like a problem. Sometimes, it arrives looking like your best friend. Without wasting a second, Zara could barely contain her excitement. She had just come from the biggest sale of the season, and in her mind, this was an opportunity no one should miss. Every store seemed to have unbelievable discounts, limited-time deals, and signs promising huge savings. To Zara, it wasn't about spending money. It was about not missing out. As Ava listened, the excitement became hard to ignore. What started as an ordinary payday was quickly becoming a test of discipline, and the day was only just beginning. For just a moment, Ava stood still. She remembered the promise she had made to herself only minutes earlier. This paycheck was supposed to be different. She was going to budget first, save first, and spend with a plan. But as she looked at Zara's excitement, doubt quietly crept in. Would one quick shopping trip really make that much of a difference? Sometimes the hardest financial decisions aren't the big ones. They're the small choices that seem harmless in the moment. Zara smiled and gently encouraged Ava to come along. She promised they'd only stop by for a little while, just enough to look around and catch the best deals before they were gone. The invitation sounded simple. Just one trip, just one afternoon, just one chance to treat herself after working so hard. Ava took one last look at her budget planner resting on the kitchen counter. then picked up her purse. Sometimes, the biggest financial detours begin with 3 little words. Just this once. The moment Ava and Zara walked through the mall doors, the energy was impossible to ignore. Bright storefronts, colorful displays, and sale signs seemed to be everywhere they looked. The excitement was contagious. What had started as just looking suddenly felt like an opportunity to reward herself. After all, Ava had worked hard for her paycheck, and today, treating herself felt like something she had earned. But sometimes, the hardest part of managing money isn't saying no. It's remembering your plan when everything around you is telling you to spend. As they stepped into the first clothing store, Ava's eyes were immediately drawn to rows of colorful outfits and signs advertising incredible savings. Everywhere she looked, there was something that caught her attention. A jacket she'd been wanting, a pair of jeans she didn't need, and dresses she could already imagine wearing. The more she looked around, the easier it became to forget why she'd planned to save in the first place. Sometimes it's not the price tag that changes our spending. It's the excitement of believing we're getting a great deal. One outfit turned into 2, then 3, then 4. With every trip to the fitting room, Ava found another reason to smile. She admired herself in the mirror, imagining all the places she could wear each new outfit. Each purchase felt small on its own. A top here, a pair of jeans there, maybe one more dress. After all, they were on sale. What Ava couldn't see was that little purchases have a way of quietly adding up. And before long, just a few things can become much more than you ever planned. With each new outfit, Zara's excitement grew. She couldn't help but point out another sale, another great find, another item that looked perfect on Ava. Every suggestion came with the same thought: if it's on sale, why not? The shopping bags were beginning to fill, and so was Ava's confidence that she was making smart choices. After all, saving money on a discount still felt like saving money. But sometimes, buying things you never planned to buy isn't saving at all. It's simply spending more than you intended. Ava picked up each item and glanced at the price tag. At first, she hesitated, carefully adding up the cost in her mind. Then she noticed the discount. The original price was crossed out, replaced by a much lower one. A smile spread across her face. It felt like she wasn't spending money. It felt like she was saving it. But one discounted purchase after another can still add up to a paycheck that disappears faster than you ever expected. One by one, Ava placed each item on the checkout counter. The cashier scanned every purchase as the total quietly climbed higher and higher. With each beep, another piece of her paycheck was spoken for. Still smiling, Ava reached for her bank card without giving it a second thought. It only took a few seconds to tap, approve, and walk away with bags full of purchases. Sometimes, spending money is easy. It's realizing how much you've spent that can be the hard part. With shopping bags in both hands, Ava and Zara walked out of the mall, feeling excited about everything they had found. They laughed, admired their purchases, and talked about all the places Ava could wear her new outfits. In that moment, it felt like a perfect day. Ava didn't feel like she'd made a mistake. She felt like she'd treated herself after working hard. But sometimes, the true cost of our choices doesn't show up at the checkout counter. It shows up later, when we finally look at what's left in our bank account. As the front door closed behind her, Ava carried her shopping bags inside with a smile. She carefully set each bag on the floor, taking one last look at everything she had bought. For a moment, it felt worth it. The new clothes, the great deals, the excitement of the day, it all felt like a reward for her hard work. But as the shopping bags filled her apartment, the reality of what she'd spent was about to fill her mind. The living room was now filled with shopping bags, boxes, and new purchases. Every bag held something Ava had convinced herself she needed. Just hours earlier, each item had felt like the perfect choice. Looking around, she couldn't help but smile at everything she'd brought home. But beneath the excitement, something was quietly changing. Without realizing it, Ava had filled her apartment while slowly emptying her paycheck. As the excitement of the day began to settle, Ava reached for her phone. Almost without thinking, she opened her banking app. She expected to see plenty of money left. After all, she'd only bought a few things. Or so it seemed. Her thumb paused over the screen as her account balance loaded. The smile that had been on her face all day slowly began to disappear. In that quiet moment, reality had finally caught up with her. Ava's eyes widened as she stared at the screen. She blinked once, then looked again, hoping she had read the number wrong. Her heart sank. The excitement from just a few hours earlier was suddenly replaced with disbelief. How could so much money be gone so quickly? It wasn't one big purchase that emptied her paycheck. It was a series of small decisions that didn't seem important in the moment. And now, the reality was staring back at her. Silence. No excitement. No celebration. Just Ava, staring at the number on her screen. In only a few hours, the paycheck she had worked so hard for was almost gone. It wasn't because she didn't earn enough. It wasn't because she wasn't smart. She simply didn't have a plan. And in that quiet moment, Ava realized something many of us have experienced. Money can disappear long before we ever notice it's leaving. As Ava sat quietly, something unexpected happened. A soft, golden glow began to fill the room. Tiny sparkles danced through the air, growing brighter with every passing second. Then, from the warm light, a friendly face appeared. It was Penny, the money mentor who believed that every financial journey, no matter how difficult, could begin with one small step. She didn't come to criticize Ava. She came to remind her that every new beginning starts with a single decision. Before Ava could say a word, another gentle light shimmered across the room. This time, it glowed with rich emerald and golden sparkles, filling the apartment with a quiet sense of possibility. From the light stepped Investor Ivy. She carried herself with calm confidence, knowing that wealth isn't built overnight. It's built one smart decision at a time. Where Penny teaches you how to save your money, Investor Ivy teaches you how to make your money work for you. Ava looked on in amazement, realizing she wasn't alone anymore. Then, the room grew still once again. A warm, steady glow surrounded Ava, bringing with it a quiet sense of comfort and wisdom. From the light stepped Uncle Bank. With a kind smile and years of experience behind him, he understood something many people don't discover until much later in life. Building wealth isn't about being perfect. It's about making better choices, one decision at a time. His presence reminded Ava that every financial mistake can become a lesson if you're willing to learn from it. But just as the room began to feel hopeful, another presence quietly slipped into the apartment. No bright entrance, no loud announcement, just a confident smile and perfect timing. This was credit. He never forced anyone to spend. He simply had a way of making every purchase seem harmless, every swipe seem small, and every "I'll pay it later" sound like a good idea. Before Ava even noticed him, credit was already standing in the room, waiting for his chance to speak. Then, the room filled with one final burst of warm, golden light. The air seemed to grow calmer, and every eye turned toward the doorway. With quiet confidence, Cash stepped forward. Where the others each carried a special gift, Cash had a unique purpose. He brought them together. With a welcoming smile, he gathered Penny, Investor Ivy, Uncle Bank, and even Credit into one circle around Ava. Because understanding money isn't about learning one lesson. It's about seeing the whole picture. And for the first time, Ava realized she wasn't facing her financial journey alone. The apartment grew quiet as the money mentors gathered around Ava. No one was there to shame her. No one was there to make her feel guilty. They were there for one reason: to help her understand what had happened. Cash stepped forward first.
Ava, your paycheck didn't disappear. It simply went where you told it to go.
Ava took a slow, deep breath. Then she reached for the budget planner that had been sitting on her kitchen island all along. This time, she didn't open it with fear. She opened it with purpose. She picked up her pen and began writing down her income, her bills, her savings goal, and a plan for every dollar she earned. For the first time, her paycheck wasn't controlling her decisions. She was taking control of her paycheck. In that quiet moment, Ava discovered something powerful. A budget isn't about telling yourself no. It's about telling your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. As the city lights shimmered outside her window, Ava looked down at the first budget she had ever truly believed in. The shopping bags were still there. The mistakes hadn't disappeared, but something inside her had changed. She realized that building wealth doesn't begin with earning more money. It begins with making better decisions, one choice at a time. Standing beside her, the money mentors smiled, knowing this was only the beginning of her journey. Because financial freedom isn't built in a single day. It's built one paycheck, one budget, and one smart decision at a time. Next time, Ava will discover that creating a budget isn't about limiting your life. It's about giving every dollar a purpose before it has the chance to disappear. And that's exactly where her journey continues.